next we're going to go to Kandice Hawes, who is another student who was affected by this policy. While a student at Fullerton College, she was arrested for marijuana possession and automatically lost her aid. Without the help she received from the John W. Perry Scholarship Fund, a private scholarship program specifically for students affected by this penalty, she would have had to drop out immediately. Kandice?
Thank you for allowing me to speak to you today about how I was affected by the Higher Education Act. I am among the 200,000 students who've had their federal aid withheld due to a minor drug charge. I'm here today to let Congress know that I and students in a similar position are decent people and do deserve the help to stay in school. The Higher Education Act only discourages students from pursuing their education, and I am here to let you know why we should stop it. At the time that I was affected, I was a responsible, full-time, hard-working student, trying to make a better life for myself. Unfortunately, I made some mistakes and consequently received a possession ticket. I was ready to face my penalties, probation, and diversions assigned, but the most devastating consequence was that this would change and affect my education and future forever. In my case, it wasn't on the financial aid form that I found out about the Higher Education Act, but from the officers at the time of the incident. When the officers told me I would lose my financial aid because of the charge, that's what hit me the hardest. I knew this one mistake could ruin my whole life. The monetary assistance I received from the government was absolutely necessary for me to be able to afford to stay in school. Knowing that I wouldn't be able to receive federal funds, I felt like my future had been pulled out from underneath me. I might have to quit school. The day I received my ticket changed my life, and I knew I couldn't give up. I tried finding more work, considered taking less classes, and even asked my struggling family for assistance to pay for school. After trying to work more hours during school break, I realized I wouldn't be able to handle a full workload and devote my attention to my classes. I had to find another way, and I was lucky enough to find a source of aid through the grant from the Perry Fund, a partial scholarship for students affected by the Higher Education Act. I was able to stay in school longer because I found help through this fund and wouldn't give up, but many other students are not as lucky or resourceful. It was disturbing to me to find out that financial aid applications don't discriminate against students charged with violent or sexual assaults, and don't deny these students the aid to go to school, but students in my situation are. Students who've had drug charges should be able to have the same chance to progress their education. They are decent people who made a mistake and don't deserve to be punished a second time by denying us the aid to go to school. Taking away the opportunity to better our lives through education could possibly force students with drug problems further into a negative lifestyle, possibly using drugs even harder after faced with the frustration and depression of having to leave school. Taking away money needed for school and the possibility of achieving an education is counterproductive, and it makes it much more difficult for students to reform their lives and become responsible, contributing members of society. I believe the Higher Education Act only causes unnecessary hardships for students who already have so much to handle and who are trying to make a better future for themselves. I urge you to repeal the Higher Education Act and allow students with minor drug charges to continue their academic careers with the help of federal financial aid. Anyone trying to better their lives in this country should be given the ability to do so, especially if they're trying to reform their life from drugs. Repealing the Higher Education Act would benefit thousands of students' futures and in turn benefit the whole society by producing more educated citizens. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Just to clarify, it's not the entire HEA that we object to, just that one small provision.
Yeah, that is a relatively minor part of the law.
Right.